start something. You feel me? When we not on no negativity from now on, man. We not doing that. I'm just here to be positive, and I don't speak on anything negative, you know. So that's the new wave. That's what we going forward with. Anything negative, we not talking about it. We not speaking on it.
Stefanski is now saying, over my dead body will Shedeur get a shot. This is all-time shameful on the part of Kevin Stefanski. He won't even speak Shedeur's name in these interview sessions. There's just a principle involved here where at least you acknowledge that by default, Flacco is now gone. Shedeur moved up a slot. He's second on the depth chart. This was Kevin Stefanski pretty much declaring public war.
Hey, hey, ain't got no pen and pad in his goddamn hotel here in goddamn London, boy. Until the lion have thumbs. Wait, yes, they do. Hold on. Well, stop playing. What? Well, that's a good one there. I remember it too. Until the lion has thumbs, the hunter will always write the story.
The hunter will always be glorified.
At the center of this storm is Shedeur Sanders, the young quarterback from Colorado who entered the league with enormous expectations and a heavy shadow of doubt from critics. The son of Coach Prime walked into Cleveland with confidence, maturity, and a desire to compete. But behind the smiles and press conferences, a different game was being played. One that had little to do with football and everything to do with control. Before we get into it, make sure you hit that like button, smash subscribe, and turn on the notification bell, because this story about Shedeur Sanders, the Cleveland Browns, and how power shapes the truth in the NFL is one you don't want to miss. Every like and subscription helps this community grow and keeps real sports conversations alive.
Stefanski is now saying, over my dead body will Shedeur get a shot. This is all-time shameful on the part of Kevin Stefanski. He won't even speak Shedeur's name in these interview sessions. There's just a principle involved here where at least you acknowledge that by default, Flacco is now gone. Shedeur moved up a slot. He's second on the depth chart. This was Kevin Stefanski pretty much declaring public war on Shedeur. I guarantee you Bailey Zappi is now, and they're not putting it up on the website. I guarantee he'll dress at Pittsburgh and he will be second in command at that position. This is Kevin Stefanski showing you once and for all, I didn't want to draft him. I don't like his attitude. And above all, he fears his father. He fears that if Shedeur ever gets a hold of the starting quarterback job in Cleveland, before you know it, Deion will replace Kevin Stefanski as the next head coach of the Cleveland Browns. If Shedeur's ever going to get a shot here, it's only because Jimmy Haslam steps in and puts his foot down.
They understood exactly what Shedeur was going through because they lived versions of that same reality. When he said he admired Shedeur's attitude, he wasn't talking about stats or performance. He was talking about something bigger, resilience under manipulation. He saw a rookie who refuses to fold, who refuses to lash out even when the system around him seems designed to test his patience. The Browns situation is unlike any other. The franchise is paying 8 quarterbacks, from Deshaun Watson's $35 million contract down to practice squad checks. Yet somehow, despite all that investment, they can't decide who their real leader is. Shedeur sits quietly in that crowded quarterback room, punching his code at the facility gate every morning, waiting for his shot. He knows what's going on, and so do the veterans. The politics are thick. The decisions aren't purely about talent. They're about optics, contracts, and control of the narrative. They've seen it before. Teams that claim to value competition, but quietly script who wins and who loses. When he said the league waits for a player to fold or say something crazy, he meant it. The NFL loves players who perform, but it loves control even more. One wrong word from a young quarterback, and suddenly the headlines change. One perceived attitude issue, and the same media that once hyped you will turn and label you uncoachable. That's how stories are written without the lion ever getting a chance to hold the pen.
Either Kevin Stefanski thinks Shedeur Sanders is Magic City parking lot, straight ass, or he just don't like him. This is the perfect example of take all your confidence away from a player. He must got some pictures or some evidence on Jimmy Haslam. I've never seen anything like this. I don't know who the backup.
Shedeur has handled it differently. Instead of complaining, he celebrates others. When Dylan Gabriel got moved up to QB1 in camp, Shedeur didn't sulk, he congratulated him. He called it lit and told him to handle business. That's not fake humility, that's awareness. He knows that the world is watching, and the best way to fight manipulation isn't with anger, it's with discipline. Unc connected deeply with that mindset. He told his own story about being a second-round pick, coming into the league hungry, watching another rookie shine first, and realizing the grind never ends. He remembered the frustration of watching teammates get reps while he waited for his turn. But he also remembered the feeling of gratitude, that even just being able to walk into the building, to strap on pads, to compete was a blessing. That's the same energy Shedeur brings every day. He's not chasing hype, he's chasing growth. But make no mistake, how dangerous this kind of patience can be. The NFL isn't built to reward quiet strength. It rewards visibility, controversy, and the stories that drive ratings. That's why the quote about the lion hits so hard, because in Cleveland, it's clear who's holding the pen, and it's not Shedeur Sanders.
In my role, I have to do what's best for our players, our team, and I'm very, very invested in our player development, our young players' development, our quarterback development. So any decision I make, I want to just...
Kevin Stefanski has been painted as a strategist, but Unc sees something deeper, a man protecting his system more than developing his players. The same system that once gave Joe Flacco a comeback season is now the same one slow-playing a rookie who has already proven leadership, poise, and market power far beyond his draft slot. It's not just about football, it's about maintaining the status quo. Because if Shedeur wins the job too early, the media narrative changes, and the organization loses control of its story. Shannon knows that game. He lived it when he entered the NFL as a late pick and had to earn every rep. He said it himself. He wasn't handed anything, and when his teammates succeeded before him, he celebrated them. But deep down, he wanted to play. Every competitor does. It's in the DNA. And when Shedeur looks around and sees guys he can outthrow, outthink, and outlead getting snaps before him, he feels that same fire. But unlike others, he channels it the right way. There's something almost poetic in how Unc describes it. As long as he can punch in his code and the gate opens, he's good. That line is powerful because it shows what true professionals understand. Your opportunity starts the second you show up. But what happens when the system doesn't want to let you rise? When they tell you competition is fair, but the game is already scripted? That's where Shedeur stands today, between patience and proof, between control and freedom. The lion with no thumbs, forced to watch hunters write his story for him. Ocho didn't hide his frustration. He said it plain. Every player starts off grateful just to be in the league, but that gratitude doesn't erase ambition. Nobody dreams of sitting on the bench. Nobody grows up wanting to be a backup. At some point, every athlete looks around and says, nah, this gotta change. That's where Shedeur's mindset becomes dangerous, not for himself, but for those trying to contain him. The Browns can keep trying to manage the optics. They can keep spinning stories about development, competition, and waiting for the right moment. But players like Shedeur make moments happen. You can't silence that forever. Shannon then shifted the conversation toward family, talking about how real teams handle conflict. He compared the locker room to a family, saying that everything should stay in-house. That line wasn't just football philosophy. It was a coded message about how the Browns should handle Shedeur's situation. Keep it real, keep it private, and let the work speak. But when media leaks and front office whispers start to shape the narrative, it's no longer a family, it's a circus. That's why the line, "Until the lion has thumbs," became so profound. It reminded everyone that athletes rarely get to tell their own stories. Reporters twist quotes, analysts fill gaps with speculation, and fans believe whatever narrative fits the team's agenda. Shedeur, for all his composure, knows this too. That's why he's careful. That's why his interviews are calm, measured, and professional. He's seen what happens when players feed the fire. The NFL doesn't need facts. It just needs a headline. Then the conversation turned to the money. The Browns are paying out salaries that look more like a quarterback farm than a football team. Deshaun Watson sits at the top, making nearly $36 million. Jameis Winston, Dylan Gabriel, Joe Flacco, and Shedeur follow with drastically smaller contracts. That financial imbalance tells its own story. The hierarchy is clear, even if performance doesn't always match it. Shannon pointed out the obvious. When a team pays a quarterback that much, they'll do everything possible to justify it. That means politics will always outweigh competition. It means that even if Shedeur outperforms others in practice, his chance will be delayed because money speaks louder than merit. That's how franchises protect their narratives. And yet, despite all that, Shedeur keeps showing up, keeps supporting teammates, keeps studying film, keeps representing himself and his father's legacy with grace. That's what Ocho meant when he said he loves the kid's attitude, because it's rare to see a young player balance ambition with humility in a league built on ego. The Nightcap hosts weren't just analyzing football, they were dissecting power. They were saying that in the NFL, truth and perception are two different things. The truth is, Shedeur has the skill, the mindset, and the leadership to start. The perception is that he's just another rookie waiting for a turn that may never come, unless he creates it himself. When he repeated the quote, he smiled. Until the lion has thumbs, the hunter will always be glorified. That's a warning shot to every athlete out there. If you don't learn to tell your own story, someone else will tell it for you, and they'll make themselves the hero. For Shedeur, that means controlling the only thing he truly can, his actions. The irony is that while critics keep questioning his readiness, his jersey sales are booming, his interviews are calm, and his teammates respect him. Those aren't signs of immaturity. They're signs of quiet leadership, the kind that wins locker rooms long before it wins games. They've seen great talents crushed by media pressure and front office games. They've also seen fighters, those who play the long game, who outlast the politics. That's what Shedeur represents now. Not just a quarterback, but a player learning to take the pen back from the hunters. Cleveland fans might not see it yet, but this is the kind of story that changes a franchise. It's the moment before the moment, when a young player, surrounded by chaos, keeps his composure and forces the truth to surface through his play. Because once that happens, no narrative can hide it. Once the lion finally gets thumbs, no hunter can rewrite history again. In the end, what Shannon really said wasn't about the Browns or Stefanski. It was about power, about who gets to define success, about who gets to speak and who gets silenced. And right now, Shedeur Sanders is proving that silence doesn't mean surrender. It means he's studying. It means he's watching. It means he's waiting for the right moment to roar. So if you're still watching, hit like, drop a comment with your take, and subscribe for more real football talk. Because until the lion has thumbs, the hunters will keep writing their stories. But we're here to make sure the lions finally get their turn to speak.